Very cool. Nice to meet you. What's going on?
Nice to meet you too. The very first thing I used to ask when it's my first interview is
Hmm.
something from the past, like which
Yeah.
are your first memories about music when you were really young, just a
Oh,
baby maybe.
wow. Um, it's funny. I remember I don't really talk about this much and I don't, but like I forget that because I think like I didn't really, you know, I think one of the biggest things for me in this whole thing, more than my voice or anything, it's like the songwriting part of things, was just like pushed myself to write songs because I really was always like, what are they? They're so supernatural, and like who makes these things? Like I don't think I understood that you could make them, like that, like you make up songs, it's like I still kind of can't believe it. So I think when I was a little kid, I didn't even know what I was doing. I remember like this is probably not the greatest thing to say in an interview, but it's like masturbation. You're like, oh, look at that.
It's
That
something that's
feels
coming
great.
like a music, like
You're like,
music.
look at this thing I can do. And it feels good. Now I'm not talking about masturbation anymore. Now I'm going to talk about songwriting.
Okay, great.
Okay. So I would be like in the back of the car, like kind of like when the car was running and making up songs, and being like, oh wow, that's really fun. I just made up this little thing. Or when the vacuum was on.
It is
So I was always like, I was
moving.
very shy about it. If it was like noisy, I'd be like singing. In fact, like, and then when I was in the back of the car, one day I was like singing along to the radio, and my mom was a singer. She studied voice and sang and whatever. But I just remembered so vividly. Like she turns down the radio and she goes, "Is that you?"
Nice.
Yeah, it is. And that little bit of encouragement was like, and then I started singing in school. Like we'd have like like music class or whatever, and everybody be singing. And and I remember because my mother like was like thought I sounded good, I started singing a little louder. And the same thing happened in class. Like I remember the teacher goes, "Who is that?" Like, who's singing like that? And the kids were like, she like she's and I was like, because I was like, it was really embarrassing because I had like the vibrato in my voice and everything. And then she like picked me to like sing in this like school like show or whatever. And I remember I was like, holy shit, like it was just really like moments like that. And I just I was really shy about it, and so I almost like telling people like be very careful with children, how you react when they sing, like because like a kid, I feel like I've known kids like when I was a camp counselor for a long time when I was young,
Look at that.
and
Nice.
I remember like there's some kids that just wouldn't sing ever, and I remember like getting to the bottom of it. It's like because like even if like your kid is singing, you're like like even if you make a face while they're singing is so personal. It's so and because it's like it's so like spiritual and so like it really is your true self sometimes, and it's like
You open up. You open up.
yeah, yeah. And I mean that's why I love to do it. And and because it's my job, sometimes it's difficult, you know what I mean? But then I have to remember like, I've gone through some personal stuff. Like it was such a journey to make it my life, It was very difficult and emotional. So
How many LPs are singing those songs? I mean, they are pretty different from 2017 up to here for me.
I I'm not an actor, but I'm an actor. You know
It's
what I mean?
nice.
Like I really, yeah, I get into this like space, falling in love or if I'm falling in lust and I really like get that whole thing or if I'm like sad, I just allow myself to go there, you know what I mean? And like it's helpful to me. Like I can really get in that thing. Even like, like in the video, like, like this most
Hmm.
recent video, um I lived that life like that, like in that day. In fact, to the extent that the next day I was like, where am I? Like, what happened to my mansion and my glamorous blonde wife? Like, where? where is she?
Where
It's
did
like
they go?
very yeah, where did they go? But yeah, and I love that, I love being like that, It's wild, but it's like but it gets me into that space and I love it.
And now I'm coming back. So were
Do it.
you that way when you were a kid, or it was difficult to travel from this a bit shy?
Yeah,
I don't
I mean
think you were very shy, but
Uh, no, I wasn't shy, but but I'm very like secretive in a way. Becoming who I am, even my sexuality and everything. Like those are the two big journeys of my life: my sexuality and my music. And it was very difficult. Like you know what I mean? Like I was like like I'm as much like I was as a child, like I am now. But I had to be reset again and again because like society tried to get me into that fucking safe spot where like everyone's comfortable with how you are. It's like fuck you. Oh, it's comfortable for you. Like when my father said, my mother was gone by the before I came out, and then my father's like, I just think it's a difficult life. I was like, and now I'm gonna get really like I'm gonna get but this is a rock magazine, so I shouldn't have to. And I said to him, I said, "So it's difficult for me to be gay?" I was like, "What's more difficult, me being gay or me having to suck a dick that I don't wanna suck?" And he goes, "Oh my god, Lord, for God's sakes," I was like, "Well, do you wanna suck a dick, Dad? Do you wanna suck a dick?" Stop, don't talk about it anymore." I was like, "Well, then let's not talk about it because I'm gonna do what I want, and then everyone around me, including me, is gonna be happier." It's like, people don't want you to be who you are for their sake and they can fuck off. It's like, oh, it's more comfortable for you. It's just like what we deal with with race and like with like sexism in our country. It's just like, oh, it's comfortable for a bunch of white guys to stay like in power. It's not comfortable for everybody, so it's got to stop. And it's just like that's what it is, man. And you either fucking get on board with change or you don't.